Welcome to the third section in the Truth Concepts for Successful Living course. We're glad you're here. This week gets to be very interesting, and some of this you may balk at, you might find hard to digest, but we're going to take it slow, see what resonates with you as always, take that and leave the rest behind. So here are the key concepts for this week's lesson on thoughts, the mighty, mighty thoughts. There's only one mind, divine mind, supreme being, divine intelligence, God, a million different names for it, but there is only one mind. We are individual expressions of this divine mind, or the divine. Now, we are made up of a real portion or a real component. These are my beliefs. This is not what Emily Cady believes. She believes we're made up of spirit, soul, and body and doesn't go into this further delineation. I think it's significant. Again, take what you want and leave the rest. But I believe there is the real us, the ultimate us, which is spirit, the divine within. Some people know it as that. Divine mind, it's everlasting, it's permanent. The real mind. Then there are the other two parts of what people consider us, the soul and the body. I contend that that is the fabricated us, the made up us, the dreamed up us, if you will. Why do I say this, and why do I think this is so important? Everything hinges on this. If we believe that we are spirit, then we are everlasting and permanent, and anything that is not that, like the body, that has the ability to change or break down, like our mortal mind, can't be part of who we really are. We experience it. We do experience it through this dreamlike state, but I do not believe it is the real us. So it is comprised, though, of the soul and the body. And the soul consists of the intellect, mortal mind, transient thoughts, our conscious, subconscious, where free will exists. We draw information from both, right? A quote from Ernest Holmes: the receptive medium into which the spirit lets fall the forms of its thoughts, the mortal mind. Ernest Holmes was the founder of Science of Mind. And then there is the body, the physical body, the physical expression and manifestation of the soul. Again, if you find it hard to swallow that we fabricate this, that we somehow create this dream together, this dreamlike state, we buy into certain concepts together, that's okay. You can leave that behind. But know that technically what Emily Cady taught was we are individual expressions of the divine. That's really the spirit piece, but we have a soul and a body as well. Okay? Continuing with the key concepts, the most efficient way to gain spiritual insight is from within. And they don't mean within our body, right? She's not saying, when people say this, we don't mean within the body. We mean within our spirit. Meditation and direct communion with the divine, right? Most of us have allowed our mortal mind, soul, to be fed through the five senses. Material means, which has resulted in false thinking, rather than through spiritual channels, the divine mind, based on universal truths, or the non-transient aspects. Which is why some of these concepts presented here may seem so strange to you, and especially this week. I understand that. The result of thinking thoughts based on universal laws is as follows: increased energy and connection to God, better physical circulation of the blood. People are drawn to you. People want to be around you. Harmonious circumstances, and so much more. These are just a few. And continuing with 6 and 7, think about only those things that are pleasant and good. And if we could do this vigilantly, consistently, the result would be only happiness and joy. Most of us are on that continuum somewhere of trying to learn this, stepping back and forth, between thinking these good and pleasant things and then thinking about the things that we don't want, right? Because we have fear, and we ruminate about those thoughts, and we bring them in. And what we're doing is we're actually creating more of what it is that we don't want. The divine is continually sending unlimited good, peace, joy, love, wisdom, power, etc. All that is good. The only block to this good is our lack of receptivity and understanding it. right? Again, we can't serve two masters. If we are persisting in our rumination about the things we don't want, we are not receptive in those moments to our good. And a high level summary of this week is our thoughts control our experiences through life. It is not the circumstances or situations that make us feel a certain way, but our own thoughts about these things. What do we feel about them? Is something terrible? Is something wonderful? Those are thoughts about things. We are able to choose our thoughts with the source being either materially or spiritually based on divine law. Thinking in alignment with divine law brings all that is good. So to the extent that we can reprogram ourselves and train our mind to focus on those things that are of the divine, we will have a much better go of it in this life. So here's our week 3 visual. This caption says, believing was so much easier before I started thinking. Isn't it true? Let me just draw these all in. It's pretty funny. To the left, we have somebody, the lower left, we have underdog who just absolutely believed in himself and the goodness of what he possessed. And you see that the reaction that he has, he feels mighty, he feels strong, he feels powerful. The person in the middle's having a hard time, I can't stop thinking, right? The monkey mind, I can't turn it off. Yes, you can, sir. You absolutely can. Take this course. Top right, the end is near. The fearmonger, the end is near, global warming, right? Somebody who constantly ruminates on the negative, the end of the world, right? If we ruminate on that, you'll be hunched over carrying a big picket sign too. And then the lower right-hand corner, the more, look at this sweet little kid, the more you water it, the more it grows. Somebody is watering his mind, right? The more we cultivate, and he's obviously holding good thoughts in mind, but the more we cultivate positive thoughts, good thoughts, focus on the good, the more they'll grow. He could easily have a frown if he was holding thoughts that were not helpful, that were fear-based, that were based on lack. He could easily have a frown, but this little guy doesn't. So I want to be more like this little guy today.